You know, when we talk about the resistance in World War II, my brain immediately goes to the action movie stuff.
Sure, guys in trench coats blowing up train tracks.
Exactly. Spies, encryption machines, all of that. But today, we're diving into a story where the resistance headquarters wasn't a bunker, it was a bedroom. And the weapons weren't grenades, they were, well, a bottle of vitamins. And I can't believe I'm saying this, please.
It sounds absurd when you lift it out like that, but you're right. We're unpacking the transcript of the film The Hiding Place, the true story of the Ten Boom family. And this isn't just a war story. It's a psychological deep dive into how you maintain your humanity when the world has gone mad.
And what really struck me is that it's not about commandos, it's about a couple of middle-aged watchmakers, spinster sisters, living with their elderly father in Holland.
That's what makes it so compelling. We're looking at Corrie and Betsie Ten Boom. They are not trained operatives. They're just people. And yet, they built one of the most effective underground networks in the Netherlands, right under the nose of the Gestapo.
So let's set the scene. We're not on a battlefield, we're in a shop.
We're in Haarlem, Holland. The family home is called the Beige. It's this narrow, multi-generational house. Downstairs, you've got the watch shop.
I can almost picture it. Ticking clocks, the smell of old wood.
Right. It's the definition of cozy. And that's exactly why it became the perfect cover. The patriarch is Casper. 10, boom, everyone calls him Papa. He's this beloved man in his 80s with a long white beard. He just loves watches.
It sounds so safe. The last place on Earth you'd expect to find trouble.
But then, the atmosphere in the source material just shifts violently. It's May 1940.
The invasion.
Yes. The transcript describes the Queen's speech on the radio. The Germans have invaded. And almost immediately, that cozy world of the watch shop starts to shrink.
That's the feeling I got. First, the radios are confiscated, then the curfew. But there's a specific moment, a catalyst, that takes them from just surviving to actively resisting. And it involves a yellow star.
This is such a pivotal scene. Papa Ten Boom is out walking, and he sees a Jewish man being harassed.
Yeah.
The man's wearing the yellow star that the Nazis forced on all Jews.
Now, most people in that situation, you'd keep your head down. You don't want to draw attention.
Self-preservation. It's the default setting. But Papa does the opposite. He walks right up to the man. And he doesn't just offer sympathy, he asks, "Where can I get a star like that?"
Which is a terrifying thing to ask. He's volunteering for a target to be put on his own back.
The Jewish man is completely confused. He says, "You're a Christian, you don't want this." And Papa says something that really defines the moral spine of this whole story. He says, if we all wear them, they won't know the difference between a Gentile and a Jew.
Wow, that's heavy. He's saying resistance isn't about fighting with guns, it's about identifying with the oppressed.
Precisely. For them, this wasn't political. It was deeply spiritual. They believed the Jewish people were the apple of God's eye, so to stand by was, to them, a sin.
Okay, so they have the moral conviction. But moral conviction doesn't hide people from the Gestapo. You need a plan.
And that's where the operation really starts. It's small at first, a baby left on the doorstep, then a professor. And suddenly, the Beige isn't just a home anymore, it's a way station.
But you can't just have 6 or 7 extra people hanging around when the Nazis are patrolling the streets.
No. You need a hiding place. And this is where a character called Mr. Smith comes in. He's the architect of the resistance. He scouts the house and points right to Corrie's bedroom on the top floor.
Why her room specifically?
It was the highest point in the house. No one could hear footsteps from above. Plus, it had this high, slanted ceiling. Mr. Smith realizes they can build a false brick wall.
A false wall. How much space was behind it?
About 30 inches.
30 inches. That's tiny. That's barely the width of a doorway.
It's a crawl space. A closet, really. They even smuggle in old bricks so the wall looks aged, not fresh. To the naked eye, it looked completely solid.
But having a wall isn't enough. You have to get behind it fast.
Right. And the transcript details these drills they ran. Corrie installed an electric buzzer in every room. If that buzzer went off, it meant a raid.
And it wasn't just the people hiding, was it?
No, it was everything. Imagine you're eating dinner, the buzzer rings, you have to grab your plate, your silverware, your trash, everything that proves you exist, and sprint to the top floor.
They timed this, right? Like a pit crew.
They did. Corrie was obsessed with her stopwatch. They managed to get the time down to about 70 seconds.
70 seconds. From a dead sleep to invisible. That's intense.
It had to be. But what I love is that the source material doesn't paint these people as perfect heroes. They were messy, human. There's this one character, Meyer Wingstock, who they nicknamed Yuzi.
Oh, Yuzi is fantastic.
He is. He's a Jewish cantor. His job is to sing loudly.
Mm.
And here he is, trying to hide in total silence. And there's this running tension where he refuses to eat pork because it's not kosher, even though they're all practically starving.
And he hated the nickname, right?
Despised it. He wants dignity. But Corrie treats him like a mischievous uncle. There's this scene where he's singing Hebrew blessings at the top of his lungs, and the sisters are just terrified someone will hear. It's funny, but it shows the reality of it.
It grounds the whole story. But as with all these true stories, the clock runs out. And it wasn't a mistake during a drill that got them caught.
No. It was a betrayal. A man named Jan Vogel comes to the shop, crying. He says his wife has been arrested, and he needs money to bribe a policeman to free her.
And Corrie, being Corrie, she trusts him.
She gives him the money. And it's a trap. Vogel was a collaborator. Moments later, the Gestapo kicks down the door.
And the raid itself, the transcript describes it as just pure chaos.
Total chaos. They tear the house apart. They find the radio, the ration cards. They beat Corrie and Betsie. But, and this is a testament to Mr. Smith's architecture, they do not find the wall.
Wait, so the people were behind the wall during the raid?
Yes. Yuzi and the others were squeezed into that 30-inch gap. They stayed there, silent, while the Nazis were literally inches away, banging on the bricks, checking for hollow spots.
How long were they in there?
About 47 hours. They all survived. Every single person hiding behind that wall made it out alive.
But the 10 booms didn't.
No, the family is arrested. And this is where the story shifts into darkness. Papa is 84. He doesn't last long.
10 days.
10 days. He dies in a hospital hallway and is buried in a pauper's grave.
Which leads us to Corrie and Betsie. They're transported to Ravensbrück. And this is where we get to the real deep dive nugget of this episode. Because things happen here that just defy logic.
Ravensbrück was a nightmare. Overcrowding, disease, brutality. It was designed to break you. And yet, almost immediately, two inexplicable things happen.
Okay, first, the Vitamin model. This feels like something out of a fairy tale.
It really does. Corrie smuggles in a small Bible and a bottle of vitamin drops. In their barracks, Barracks 28, women are sick and dying. So Corrie starts giving out the drops.
Just 1 drop a day.
1 drop. But there are dozens of women. That bottle should be empty in a week. But the transcript says every time she tipped it, a drop came out. It just kept going.
It just kept refilling itself.
Until a fresh supply was smuggled in. The very moment the new supply arrived, the old bottle went dry.
You can interpret that however you want, miracle, perception, whatever, but the psychological effect must have been massive.
It told them they weren't forgotten. But the second thing, the fleas, that's the one that really challenges you.
Okay, yes, the fleas. Barracks 28 is infested, it's a lice pit, and Betsie decides they need to thank God for the fleas.
It's the ultimate test of their faith. Betsie prays, thank you for the overcrowding, thank you for the fleas.
And Corrie pushes back. She's basically like, are you crazy? God didn't make these fleas. This is filth.
Corrie is the voice of reason.
No.
Why would you be grateful for a parasite that's eating you alive? It sounds like a delusion.
But then, the reveal.
Weeks later, they realize something strange. They've been holding Bible studies in the barracks, reading aloud, singing hymns. In any other barracks, the guards would have stormed in and stopped them. But in Barracks 28, the guards never came inside.
They just ignored it.
Completely. Corrie asks a supervisor why, and the supervisor just laughs and says, are you kidding? They won't go near that place. It's crawling with fleas.
Wow. So the fleas were their security system.
Exactly. The very thing that was tormenting them was the only thing protecting them. It created this little sanctuary where they could offer hope to hundreds of dying women.
It just forces you to completely rethink what a blessing even looks like.
A blessing that looks like a curse. It's a profound lesson.
I want to talk about the sisters, because they process this so differently. Corrie is not a saint. She is angry.
She's very relatable.
Yeah.
She admits she wants to kill Jan Vogel, the man who betrayed them.
Yeah.
She tells Betsie she carries a knife in her heart.
There's that interrogation scene with the Nazi lieutenant where he's mocking her faith.
And she tells him this story about her father and a train ticket. How her father would only give her the ticket right before she needed to get on the train. She says, our Father in heaven knows when we will need the strength to die. He supplies it when the moment comes, not before.
That's such a resilient way to view fear. You don't have the strength now because you don't need it yet.
Right. But then you have Betsie, who's operating on another plane entirely. She's already envisioning the future. She keeps telling Corrie, we must have a house after the war, a house where we can help people heal.
And she didn't just mean the victims.
No, and this is the hardest part. She was praying for the guards while they were beating her. She insisted that after the war, they had to help the Germans too. They are the most damaged of all, she said.
But Betsie doesn't make it out.
She dies in the camp. The transcript says she looked peaceful, young again. But Corrie's exit is where the story takes a turn that just gives you chills.
The clerical error.
Corrie is called to the administration office. She thinks it's for the gas chamber. Instead, they hand her release papers. She's free.
But it wasn't a scheduled release.
No. Years later, she found out it was a mistake, a paperwork error. Because just 1 week after she walked out, all the women of her age group in Ravensbrück were sent to the gas chambers.
That is terrifying. If some clerk had been better at his job, this story would have died with her.
It brings up this massive question of survivor's guilt. Why her? Was it a miracle? Or just random, awful bureaucracy?
How did she deal with that, knowing she survived because of a typo?
She decided that since her life was given back to her, she had to use it to fulfill Betsie's vision. She spent the next 30 years traveling to over 60 countries, telling this story.
And she opened that home Betsie talked about.
She did. And true to Betsie's wish, she opened it to everyone, including the Quislings.
The Dutch collaborators.
Yes, the people who were despised after the war, hated even more than the Germans. And Corrie opened her home to them, forcing her countrymen to practice the very forgiveness she preached.
So as we wrap this up, what is the big takeaway here? Because it's heavy stuff.
I think the takeaway is about the nature of resistance. We think resistance is about changing your circumstances, escaping the prison, winning the war. But the Ten Booms story suggests that true resistance is about not letting your circumstances change you.
It's about keeping your soul intact.
Right. It's about thanking God for fleas because you refuse to let the darkness dictate your gratitude. It's about forgiving the traitor because you refuse to let them turn you into a hateful person. Their motto was, "No pit is so deep that he is not deeper still."
It's a powerful idea, and it leaves you with this one last thought. The source makes a point of calling her release a clerical error. Was it just random chance that allowed this story to be told? Or was it something else? And how do you even begin to reconcile a miracle for one person with the thousands who didn't get that error?
That's the question you're left with.
Thanks for diving deep with us.